Hey guys, it's Mrs. C. Back with day 9,727,000 teaching from home on quarantine. No, not really, but it feels like that some days. Today we are going to go over the Module 13 quiz review that I asked you to try yesterday. So I'm going to go over the answers and how we found out the answers just like I would in a normal class period. So this video is going to be a little bit longer because we have some questions to get through. We are going to review the area of quadrilaterals, quad meaning four, so shapes with four sides, triangles, complex shapes, and solving some area equations, some things that we have to think about a little bit, okay? So the first thing that I want you to see, that although this said to show your formula plug-in and any work in the problem, when you do take the quiz, I just want the answer. It's going to basically plug in the numbers. I've put here for you the square inches, but on the quiz, they just want the numbers in there. Okay, on a normal quiz, you would always put them, but they just want those numbers. So the first thing, we look at our shape. Again, we have to use the right formula for the shape. So when you take the quiz, make sure you have the formulas written down. Or if you could print out the sheet that I had posted for you, that would be great to have with you. This is a parallelogram. On the quiz, there's one that looks a little funky. They kind of turn it, and you're like, what shape is that? It's a parallelogram, you guys. So doesn't matter which angle it's turned at. It's still a parallelogram. Formula for a parallelogram. Area is equal to the base times the height. Okay, so I'm going to plug in what I know. I remember that my height and my base always intersect with each other. So I'm plugging in, I don't know the area. The base is 9, the height is 6. I use my calculator to make sure I'm right, and I get area is equal to 54. So it's 54 square inches. Again, on the quiz, I'm just going to want the numbers. You don't need any commas in there, but you do need decimals. If it comes out to a decimal point, you need the decimal. All right, let's try the next one. The next one, we have a trapezoid for number 2. Trapezoid, again, the formula. Area is equal to the height times base 1 plus base 2, and we divide the whole thing by 2. Remember, you could use the formula that it's half the height times base 1 plus base 2, but I prefer this one. It works out for me a little bit better. So I gave you the height and the bases, and you needed to plug in. Okay, so area is equal to, they tell me my height is 7 times base 1 is 6 plus base 2 is 12. I'm going to end up dividing the whole thing by 2. I have to remember that part. I follow my order of operations. I do what's in parentheses first. So 6 plus 12 is 18. So area is equal to 12 times 18 divided by 2. Again, follow the order of operations. 7 times 18 is 126. 126 divided by 2. For part 1, I get the area of this trapezoid. Its area is 63 centimeters squared. So I'm going to plug in here 63. If you look at part 2, there's a second question. What is the area of 4 of these trapezoids put together? So you're just going to take your answer and you're going to multiply it by 4. So you should have gotten 252. There's a question like that on the quiz where you have to make sure that you're reading carefully. They don't want just the area of the trapezoids. They're going to multiply it by a number. So that's the answer you have to give, the multiplied out number. Okay, the next one is a triangle. Find the area of the triangle, and they're telling you again the base is 13 and the height is 14. Again, you have to use the right formula. So for a triangle, area is equal to the base times the height divided by 2. That's the formula I prefer to use. We plug in our numbers. So the area is equal to, they're telling me base is 13. 13 times 14. We're going to divide that answer by 2. When I multiply 13 times 14, I get 182. Again, you should be using your calculator, okay? And I'm going to divide that by 2, and I get an answer of 91. So the area is equal to 91 square inches, okay? So let's go on to the next problem. Number 4 gave you one of those complex shapes. Again, you have to find the area of each individual shape and then stick them together at the end. So we're going to go easy here. We're going to start with the rectangle. For the area of a rectangle, area is equal to the length times the width. So you just plug in your numbers. Area is equal to 15 times 9, right? 15 times 9. And you should get 135 centimeters squared for the rectangle. That's not our final answer because, again, that's just for the rectangle. So now I got to come up here and I got to figure out this triangle. And this is the tricky part for some people. You have to understand that if this whole side is 13, I don't need that whole side. I just need this part here. So I got to figure out, well, how tall is that? Well, if this side is 9 and this side is 13, I have to do 13 minus 9, and that will tell me that this part here, this one thing, is 4. Same thing down at the bottom. This whole thing is 15, but I don't need this. This part is 11. You have to do 15 minus 11 to get this part, which is 4. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my formula. Area is equal to, it's a triangle, it's the base times the height divided by 2. Very important there, that divided by 2. Okay, plug in what we know. The area is equal to 4 times 4 divided by 2. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So the triangle is 8. Okay, I'm not done yet. I have to take my 8 and I've got to put it together with the 135. When you add them, again, use your calculator, guys. I get 143 square centimeters or centimeters square. Okay, next we have looks like a rectangle, but I got to